So in my case, we just used it for like educational purposes to learn more about the world, in which we didn't see as young children. So like by the time we were kids, we were looking at what was going on in like places like China, places like the Middle East, or even Latin America, to like see what the world was going through, like the real side of like reality in terms of like death and like seeing animals being tortured, and like many other things. And like the healthy or normal people, they just get past it and just like ignored it. So I was like, why were we having a certain go adverse into the culture, especially today's generation, and the meth explained it because of white people. So that was just that. I did some of my research, and then it answered everything for me. In 2006, United States Air Force officer dismissed court martial for fraud and professional relationship. And these are individuals who took part of providing content for Go. They established their own site. They had their own connection within the region, and that was what they were part of. So, it shows you that within that network on that naval base, there are a lot of fucked up people. So I tried to like even look up why, or like why were those people like so deeply embedded? Because for my old unit, it was more like a family setting where like we had regular people tied to like real religious houses, real families. So we didn't have like that frat house mentality, like even from the young men, in which like multiple of them, like in which like I went through like certain things, like they didn't show any, they were not showing any of the type of stuff that is being shown today in terms of like even coming into work with like talking about gore or like rape or even like misogyny. Like all that shit was just like the culture is vastly different from like the units to units. So like in my case, I didn't have to deal with that. So it wasn't really imprinted into me. So just like because like every man that I was around had the capability to absolutely go within a bar and actually pick up a woman, or even not even going to the bar, go into like regular places and just pick up a woman and just like bring them back to the barracks or whatever. And that was it. Like nobody had a problem to just like simply just hate on certain individuals unless they went to like certain things. Like even if they did, like they would keep it on the low because it was highly professional. But like especially when you tie to the military, man, that's just like it's so easy to get laid. Like very very easy. Like you automatically attract a certain set of young women or whatever simply because of your clean cut, and that's it. That's pretty much it. So that now it probably changed. The criteria probably changed nowadays. So I'm not even gonna get into that. So I was questioning like why does this culture even exist into like the Navy, and then I came across an article like this when you found out about the Marine Corps and what they do on their spare time on social media, and that answered my question why they even came after me for try to punish me in terms of like talking about certain rights in relation to like human beings, different sexes, different races, different groups, and it was simply because simply because it's just a culture time to like the brotherhood or whatever. But that's not my business. Like like I'm on vacations. Like why are these people within my data and trying to come after me for even talking about like certain women's rights or whatever? And like so this is an example of like how they dox you pretty much. So what these guys did was that they dox their female coworkers. So some of them will like bring them out to like sleep with them or whatever, like girlfriend, boyfriend. They take pictures of one another, and then most likely a lot of these individuals will part like the revenge porn sites. So like this. So they'll take the picture of their co-workers and just like post it on Facebook or like regular networks or sites, and just like expose them as like being naked sluts, or even like make fun of them. So this shows you like the setup in which they use against me within that naval base, where like I had individuals take my picture, they passed it around the base, and from then on like those people just like gossip from like all groups that I work with. whatever. And in the process, like, what unraveled was nothing more than a mess. Where, like, while I'm on vacation, talking to my family, whatever, I get news, like, within the news, that certain people were like, everything that I was talking about in one-on-one with my family, whatever, come to find out that it's being used into mass shootings, into, like, destroying the lives of other people or whatever. And that felt so disgusting to even see that as I left a job, like, regular $26 an hour job, simply because of some, like, old white dickhead who see me, living my life in a certain way, but at the same time, I'm getting paid by the government, compensated. He feels like something does not sit right. Like, I'm just questioning what the fuck doesn't sit right. Like, tell me what the fuck does not sit right. Like, tell me the definition of compensation. Like, he just feels like something doesn't feel right, like that I shouldn't be, wasting my time or money or whatever I feel like, in terms of just living my life in my specific way. And, so those people go to the extreme mean to, like, mental gymnastics to, like, take my digital information, spread it to the public purposely with the intent to create a psychological reaction in order to, like, conduct the old hang method, like, get the public to hang this person because he's a traitor to the state, because he didn't vote for Trump. And that, I don't. So somehow that wanted to coordinate teams out here to destroy an entire neighborhood and disrupt, like, the decibel and the cranking that engine from, like, those supercars, or, like, those bikes or whatever. Those things are no fun for children, especially if they have any autistic kid in that city, especially with the autistic kid. Because most of them are very sensitive to noise level, especially when it comes to machinery. So just imagine if you had your child that was autistic, or even 3-5-year-old, and constantly the U.S. Navy paying people to, like, be around that neighborhood 3 to 5 minutes to constantly have bikes crank that engine 24/7 for, like, entire 2 weeks straight. Just imagine what that would be like for your kid. And that's why I said, like, those people, like, I don't know what they even tried to pull, like, what they were trying to, like, say in terms of, like, justice, or breaking the law, or whatever the fuck it was that they even tried to come after me for. But that does not even whatever I did placed on that scale compared to what those people did right now. I mean, while I was out there for those past 2 years, doesn't even compare. So at this rate, all I'm left with is just a couple of, like, dumbass white supremacists tied to that naval base, and other groups assisting them because of their vice and, like, the businesses and the culture. And all I'm left is just fucking pricks. People just wanting to be pricks in the process, and, like, there's no other set of logic or even argument involved into my lifestyle or what I do or whatever. Like, those are just people who are just, like, miserable in life, completely, absolutely miserable in life. Like, in my case, like, after what the government did to me, especially when they ruined my vacation, doxed me, constantly give off my location in real time, while at the same time providing the information of my family into the hands of their enemies, throwing what they used to do with, like, the people that they used to move around me, until now, like, you see, because of this right here, it's connected to, like, one entire system. So you're able to, like, go in, put whatever toxic content you want within that ventilation system, and it's spread throughout the entire floor. So those people, like I said, they were highly intelligent in terms of, like, the psychological studies. So they knew they were somewhat medical. So they knew, like, whatever they were mixing into the air will actually lead to a heart failure. So while they spread the propaganda that getting vaccinated leads to heart failure, they were actually doing it in real time with me. Well, like, they used to put something into the oxygen, and that what that'll do is that they'll combine with it's already hard to breathe with, like, the smog. What that'll do is that they'll create, like, some sort of, like, biological effect where you feel like you're burning, like that, like that religious stuff in relation to, like, the sulfide, the devil's hair or whatever. You feel like you're burning, but at the same time your heart rate drops tremendously. You're struggling to even move, or even, like, you're struggling to even, like, breathe or whatever. So what I used to do is that I used to go to the bathroom within the closet, because those were extra air pockets. And then I found out eventually that there was another method involved to, like, filter out the air. That was very simple. And I started doing that. So I survived their assassination attempt. But so I'm like, who the fuck from the VA, or even the U.S. Navy would fucking target a veteran and try to kill him, while at the same time, your stupidity, the shit that you put into that air affects the entire fucking floor and possibly the entire hotel. So just imagine like how many kids or how many fucking old adults and other people were involved into that mess, who were going through the same shit that I was going through, having their heart rate, like, that's fucking psychotic. That is nothing more than like, that is ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous. And they have no shame. Like, those people have no fucking shame. Like, every time I go down that elevator, I see, they some of those Navy veterans that to that naval base would try to like walk in the elevator and show their presence. And it's just like, that sort of things I wish I could say, but like I said, monkey see, monkey do, so I can't give them any ideas or whatever. So, whatever happened to Gaza and Israel, I can't comment on that. But, like I said, certain things you talk about, like even like the black movement or like other groups, like, it's not even effective to like, aim at certain groups or even civilians, because what you create from that is that you create a certain response that lead to like, more innocent people from your side to get hurt. So in the process, what you get in return is just like two sad, sadistic individuals who do not care about the innocent element of society or whatever. But at the same time, they love the carnage or the feeling that comes with like, the war setting or even the brutality. So in my case, I'll be far more impressed if somebody wants to burn like 5 submarines or even like 5 super carriers, because that is strategic in terms of like the White Devil's operation. So in this case, like I'm just talking about opinions tonight. I'm not telling anybody to go out and burn submarines or nuclear powered carriers, because they play an important vital role into the defense of the United States. You have many different innocent people living on those things. So here you have the Satan himself, the White Devil, who wanted to take a break from work. It was a nighttime, mandatory overtime. So sometime in those bases, they force those civilians to work to a contract that says you have mandatory overtime, where like the supervisor or the facility needs you. If you don't show up for that mandatory overtime, you can get written up, eventually, depending on the severity of the written up, you could get fired and lose your job. It's based off the contract. It's kind of fair, because the employer requires certain things to like conduct his business, while at the same time it's kind of unfair, because it's like a loophole within the federal system that guarantees certain wages or whatever, and does makes certain things illegal. So in this case, like, if not for the federal laws that stated that you need to have a certain amount of period to rest and work, like, those people will work you like dogs. Like, they'll work you 24/7 if they could, if they had the ability to do so. So this guy right here, a painter, he probably goes in there, like, the painter, they can't handle like even like the coating of the boat, whatever, because there's like special coating to deal with like the kinetic on the seals or whatever, the weapons that they have to deal with, and like the stealth or whatever, all the garbage, all that is in the public domain, and none of it is secret. So this devil right here, like, he wanted to go home that night, like, go off and spend some time with his girlfriend, get his dick sucked. Like, that's all a man asks from the world, is just like, getting his dick sucked. And he couldn't get his dick sucked that night because his boss said that there's a emergency work that came up, and they chose him out of all the staff to stay. So instead of walking off that job, which will probably be the best option, to just walk off and get written up and just deal with it, he says, fuck it, I'm tired of this bullshit. I want to get out of work. I want to go get my dick sucked. So here's a bucket right here. I have this bright idea. What if I create a fire? I set this board on fire. Boom, it's on fire. I never gonna have to work on it. I'm free. Well, that is what he did with this $3 billion submarine. That's three. Yep, that's 3. With like, that's 3 with like 9 zeros following it. 9 or 15 zeros. and he burned down the entire submarine, ruined it for like 3 billion. Not even accounting the rest of the damage that is done in terms of like the operation that was disrupted, and the first responders, and like whatever's going on in between there and the Pentagon, and like so this man, simply because he wanted to get out of work, this devil catch this thing on fire, and that was it. So this guy catches a submarine on fire, and he's about to get out. I think he served like 17 years for taking down. I call him the $3 billion man, because this was worth $3 billion. So him destroying it makes his net worth $3 billion. So this man is like a weapon. He single-handedly took down a submarine on a on a military installation within the United States. Single-handedly soloed the final boss. I took that one, the $3 billion machine, with just a paint bucket. I caught it on fire. Like that is beyond Solid Snake. That guy is like the fucking. Anyway, he had double gin within him, so I expect no less. So this man is about to get out. I think like 2 or 3 years, and he spent his time in prison for 17 years or something like that. 17 years for burning down a submarine, and now he's about to get out. While me, on the other end, all I did was take my days off, go on break, get my dick sucked, do my medical or my dental or whatever, and somehow that warrants the U.S. Navy to coordinate both offline and through the system to try to ruin me from my finances, or even take my compensation away from me by throwing all sorts of bullshit charges onto me to throw me into prison. That warrants disrupting the lives of thousands of people, ruin the lives of children, especially at a young age, the dogs or whatever, and then even fucking putting toxic gases in there to try to euthanize me, not just me, but euthanize the entire fucking euthanize the entire fucking floor, and then stir up annoy the entire population with my story for a full 2 fucking years nonstop. I'm glad I'm not in America right now, because I'll be pissed off to I have to constantly hear about that one guy which does not even care about me. That's just some real annoying shit from white people. And then they try to use the system to try I'm why were they trying to use the system? What was it about me that those people hated or whatever? It's just I didn't invite them into my private life. I didn't invite them to hop on into my digital footprint. They did that on their own free will, and they did that out of pure malice. Out of pure fucking malice, they did that, and out of their own free will. And in the end, what they ended up doing is getting themselves pissed off. And like I said, that's not my business. The minute I resigned from that position, I left San Diego to go on vacation. That should have been it, the end. Nobody in that base, nobody in that nobody in that base should have been in my business, especially the agencies involved. But somehow they decided to stick onto it, abuse the Navy, abuse the public to get their little you got that little dog that just scratch on you until you feed it or something, you let it lick you. So they nagged the public, and the minute that I saw that they went on Fox News, I was like, yep. The minute I saw that it went on Fox News, I was like, yep. The minute I saw Ashton Kutcher get involved, I was like, yep. This is gonna be one hell of a great ass shit show that I have to enjoy, and I need first row seats for it. And what followed afterwards was absolutely a shit show. One big ass shit show tied to those people chasing after me over the dumbest fucking thing you can imagine, simply because their emotions, the sheltered life, all that garbage. What this led to is something absolutely unbelievable. So I was sitting down, I was wondering, like, how the fuck does New York even know about me? Like, how are they connected to LA or even California or the naval base? But then they kind of hit it around the spot, the NSA NYC building. So it's no secret that the FBI operates within New York City. There's a lot of investments that goes on around there. The CIA has to operate and do different things. So what this led to was to